Greetings everyone, welcome to episode 1 of a mini-series that will give deep biological insights into why and how you are indeed the temple of the Holy Spirit. Let's begin. Have you ever considered how the human body is similar to a house or building? This question may seem a bit peculiar at first glance, but it's a perspective that offers a profound look into our spiritual existence. 1 Corinthians 3 verse 16 states, "Do you not know that you are God's temple and that God's Spirit dwells in you?" 1 Corinthians 6 verse 19 states, "Do you not know that your bodies are temples of the Holy Spirit who is in you, whom you have received from God?" This comparison between the human body and a temple is a fascinating one. It's not just about the physical structure, but it's also about the spiritual significance. You see, in ancient Hebrew times, the temple was seen as a sacred place, where the Spirit of God dwelled, specifically the chamber called the Holy of Holies. The temple back then was carefully built and meticulously maintained, with every part serving a specific purpose. Now consider our bodies. Just like a temple, our bodies are not just randomly put together. Every cell, every tissue, every organ has a precise role to play. And in the grand scheme of things, our bodies are the dwelling place of the Holy Spirit. But let's delve deeper into this analogy. Consider a house or a building. Every structure, regardless of its size or design, has a central system that controls the power supply, a breaker box. This box, filled with switches and wires, is responsible for distributing electricity to different parts of the house or building. Each wire leads to a particular room or area, providing the energy needed for light, heat, and power. In a similar fashion, our bodies too have a central control system. But instead of a breaker box, we have an intricate network of nerves intertwined with our spine, a complex, intelligent design that delivers the necessary signals to different parts of our body. And just as a faulty switch or a tripped wire can disrupt the power in a building, any damage to our nerves can lead to a loss of function in certain parts of our bodies. So, to reiterate, just as every house or building has a breaker box, so does our body have a central control system. This comparison not only illustrates the intelligent design of our physical form, but also underscores our spiritual essence as temples of the Holy Spirit. As we can clearly see, the breaker box in a house is very similar to our spine. The breaker box is a critical component of any building. Likewise, the spine is also a critical component of the body. The spine is composed of individual vertebrae that, as mentioned previously, like the switches in a breaker box, have nerves attached. These nerves, like the wires in a breaker box, provide the power, or more precisely, the nerve impulses, that our body needs to function. Similarly, if a vertebra is broken or a nerve is pinched in our spine, the power to that part of our body can be limited or even lost. This can lead to conditions like paralysis, where parts of the body no longer respond to the brain's commands because the nerve pathways have been disrupted. The spine, like the breaker box, is not just a conduit for power, but a critical control center. It's the pathway that the brain uses to send commands to the rest of the body, controlling everything from movement to sensation. So, in the same way that we take care of our homes, ensuring that the wiring is in good order and the breaker box is functioning properly, we must also take care of our bodies. Our spine, our biological breaker box, is a critical component of our physical and spiritual well-being. The spine, like the breaker box, is the power source of the body. But what controls this power source in our body? Well, the answer lies in the brain, the command center of our being. You see, our brain is connected to the brainstem, which in turn is attached to the spine. Together they form an intricate network that plays a vital role in controlling our body. Imagine the brain as the architect of a grand building, meticulously drafting plans and sending them down to the construction site through the spinal cord. The nerves branching out from the vertebrae are like the workers, carrying out the instructions via thoughts and bringing the architect's vision to life. Whether it's lifting a finger, taking a step, or even blinking an eye, every action we take is orchestrated by this remarkable system. Just as every switch in a breaker box plays a crucial role in powering different parts of a building, our brain, through the spinal cord, distributes power to our body. The brain is the master switch. As you meditate on what you are learning in this video, be aware that the Holy of Holies of your temple is your brain, specifically your hypothalamus, which connects directly to your spine. The hypothalamus is also where the subconscious mind is located. The body was designed for God to dwell within our subconscious minds, encouraging righteous thoughts. This will be covered in depth in episode 2. How then should we protect our house or temple? The answer lies in understanding the spiritual realm. In the book of Matthew chapter 12 verses 43 and 44, Jesus says, "When an impure spirit comes out of a person, it goes through arid places seeking rest and does not find it. Then it says, 'I will return to the house I left.'" Aren't we then, as temples of the Holy Spirit, a prime target for such spiritual home invasions? This understanding underscores the importance of vigilance in guarding our temples. As 1 Peter chapter 5 verse 8 advises, we must be sober-minded and watchful. Our adversary, the devil, prowls around like a roaring lion, seeking someone to devour. We must not underestimate the cunning and persistence of this enemy. But how does the enemy gain entry? Often through our own choices. The dangers of drug use, drunkenness, and witchcraft cannot be overstated. These actions, whether we realize it or not, can open the door to spiritual home invasion. They allow destructive forces to seize control over our brain and thoughts. This allows those forces to seize control over our spines, or biological breaker box, where thoughts become actions. Remember, the brain controls the spine and the spine controls the body, yet we are not helpless. We possess the power to be kingdom warriors, to stand firm and to resist. We can choose to keep our temples pure, free from any form of spiritual contamination. We can decide to exercise control over our thoughts and actions, refusing to allow anything that would defile our temples. We must remain sober-minded and vigilant, guarding our temples from any form of invasion. In conclusion, our bodies are indeed temples of the Holy Spirit. Just as a building is controlled by a breaker box, our bodies are controlled by our spinal cords. This is not just a biological concept, but spiritual as well. We've seen how the brain governs the spinal cord, much like the command center of a house. Now that you see the biological significance and the intentional godly design, it's crucial that you guard your temple, and to never be a willing participant in your own home invasion. Our spiritual enemy understands our biology and how to exploit it. Be sober-minded and resist the devil's invasion. Remember, your body is the temple of the Holy Spirit. Guard it well. This video was brought to you by TKW, the Kingdom Warrior, author of Codex of Fallen Angel Offspring and Divine Constellations, available on Amazon. Get your copies today.